I don't care about who burns bridges with me and doesn't want to work with me. My community comes first. Why are we being punished for being honest with our community? Load of bullcrap, but fine. Like, I'm not guilty for my review. It was very fair review. So if you follow me on Twitter or have seen some of my recent community posts, you know that the Chilltown devs, Low High Tech, blocked me after my review, and I think that's very unchill behavior from them. After that, a developer approached me, it's not them, someone else, and it left a really sour taste in my mouth. Now, I didn't share anything about that because I wanted to take some time to think things through. I wanted to also reach out to some of my creator friends to ask them about what they think of the interaction that I had with that developer, and now I'm ready to talk about it. And as I was writing my notes for this video, I was walking on eggshells, and I'm really happy that David Vink and Alex from Backlog Battle both encouraged me to talk about this. I shared the screenshots of the conversation that we've had, and they said, girl, you're being manipulated and you're being gaslit, and you actually owe it to your community to tell them about what happened. Now, the developers that reached out to me are working on a farming game, but they have nothing to do with Chilltown, or at least that's what they claimed, that they have nothing to do with Chilltown. However, in the messages, they did ask to remain anonymous, so I will respect their wishes and keep them as such. I will share a couple of screenshots of the things that they've said, but I made sure that these screenshots have nothing that you can use to actually find out who they are. The screenshots are difficult to read because I took them on my display, which is very wide, instead of my phone, but I'm gonna do my best to edit them in a way that you can actually read them. And then if you see me looking here, it's because I'm reading my notes, because I don't want to forget anything or leave anything that you should know about, because I'm gonna forget. This is a really long video. But anyways, the feeling of being gaslit and manipulated just because I was being honest in my review, and then also telling you what the Chilltown devs did after my review, it was shady and upsetting to me. Like, let's talk about it. So the conversation started by them reaching out to my friend. My friend is gonna remain anonymous as well because they asked to, and my friend put me and this developer in a Discord chat so we can talk. The developer used their personal account, but it was very easy to tell which game they're making. It's an upcoming farming game in 2024. So the developer said that for market research, they usually keep a close eye on the genre and what's happening, so it was very easy for them to see the Chilltown tweet, and the Chilltown tweet did get a lot of attention, so I guess it was very easy for them to see it. So after they saw it and remembered that Crytivo was the previous publisher of Chilltown, they're not anymore, but they were, they decided to do some digging, and they said that they know that me and my friend have worked with Crytivo in the past. For me, I've received the review code for Roots of Pacha, whereas my friend has received some codes, but also a sponsorship with Crytivo. So I guess the developer wanted to see where me and my friend stand, and my friend said that they have noticed that Crytivo will usually part ways with the developers. Keep in mind, this conversation was happening at 4 AM, so I was asleep while they were chatting, and the developer said, yes, that's true, Crytivo has that trend in them parting ways with developers they work with. So because this developer had a suspicion about what might have happened with Chilltown, they decided to reach out to them, ask them why the game is in such a terrible state, why the developers are blocking people, and just to confirm, like, okay, this is what I feel happened, let's make sure that is it what happened? And they said that their suspicion was right. They then explained that allegedly, this is all being said by them, not me, they said that allegedly Crytivo offers crowdfunding assistance, so they are technically a marketing company. They also place funding goals way lower than the actual amount needed. Then they will get the actual full amount through stretch goals. So that means that a project can be technically seen as fully funded, but in fact, it's far from it. And that means if the developers cannot afford developing the game, or if the publisher does not have money to support them. They also mentioned that they suspect that Crytivo takes some of the money that the developers make through the Kickstarter, but they did not have any proof for it. If any of these two things happen, then the devs have little options left to afford bills and continue development. So Chilltown went into early access after Crytivo had abandoned them. That's again, allegedly. That's what the devs who talked to me were saying. And there you have it. Chilltown had no other choice but to continue with the early access. Now, the developer also shared about how they struggle to put food on the table, and in general, how developers can feel forced to make terrible decisions. They also said, like, is it bad to release a game in an unfinished state? They said, yes, it is. But in this case, Chilltown are the victims here, and there are NDAs which might limit what Chilltown can say. Allegedly, again, not me saying this, it's all that developer telling me that. Now, my friend said that yes, this makes sense, but as reviewers, obviously, we have a duty to our community to be honest and let them know about how a game is, regardless of what the backstory is, which 100% my friend is right. And then also my friend said that they're still struggling to understand why I got blocked, because to them, this is cutting off any chance of receiving feedback and having a better chance for them to turn their game around. Now, the developer then goes to pin things on mental health, so they said that sometimes you just can't take things anymore. So instead of starting arguments with creators or bad mouthing the videos, it's just not the way to go, which nobody is saying that. I don't know, like, there are better ways anyways to handle criticism and feedback, but we'll get to that in a bit. They said that the negative feedback is negative and it's hard to see, so some people can't handle it, which to me and my friend, we had a phone call after all of this happened. We both agreed that at the end of the day, we're reviewers, we're doing our job, we're always gonna be honest with our community, and if you can't deal with feedback, just maybe game dev is not the business for you. But anyway, the developer said other negative things about Creativo. Again, out of respect for their privacy, I'm not gonna share what they said because their game is literally releasing in 2024 and I don't want them to get in trouble for it. But also, there's no proof given to all the negative things they said. It's just like them saying stuff, but I didn't see any documentation or anything that can show me if this is facts or not. Then they said that they're not asking us to not give criticism, they just wanted us to know that things are more complicated than they seem. My friend thanked them for their point of view, but insisted that it's still weird that Low High Tech blocked me, and as our viewers, we're just doing our job. By that time, I had woken up, read everything, and I was ready to like deep down you feel when someone is gaslighting the situation. So yeah, I woke up, I thanked them for explaining, and I proceeded to say that I was very fair with my review. I did my job, I was very honest with my community. If you saw that video, then you know I was very, very fair in my review. I also told them that we all go through criticism online. That's part of like literally as a content creator, the stuff that we see online is just terrible, but the way that Chilltown developers are handling it is not the way to go, and they are shutting down any means of communication and, you know, fixing their game in the future. I also let them know that I am making a video about what happened. I had decided to make this video before the conversation started and even posted about it on both a community post and a tweet, but just to make sure, I wanted them to know that. I also gave them examples about how other companies have dealt with feedback excellently while others not so much, and I still was not convinced, why was the game released in such a bad state? So they answered back saying that sometimes developers have to release a game when nothing is fueling the project anymore. You have to pay your bills and put food on the table. They also said that each game is different, and I felt like they were pretty much giving excuses of how these developers are handling their games. So Roots of Pacha, My Time at Sandrock, and Palia all took different routes in addressing development problems. These are the games that I mentioned to them in my message. I was like, why did they? So for example, when Roots of Pacha parted ways with Creativo, they had a way of addressing it with the community. Pathea Games is very communicative with content creators and the community. So these are the devs behind My Time at Sandrock, and then Palia is blocking everyone like Chilltown is. But anyways, back to what they said. They said that it's also very hard to make games and gave this excuse, which was a load of BS. I'm literally having to like zoom in. They said, I know we all say that making games is hard, but I often wonder how much people really understand that. For example, this is where the load of BS came in. If you, as an influencer, make a bad video and people hate it, you'll get all kinds of comments about how bad it is. You'll also get some dislikes. People won't watch it, and you likely won't get any money from it. Worst case scenario, you lose anywhere from a few hours of work to a few days, or maybe even a couple of weeks, depending on how complicated it was to make. And maybe you even delete it, and that's that. If it's really bad, you may get some ongoing harassment for it, but influencers come back from that kind of thing all the time. But one bad review on an indie game can lead to anything from review bombing to harassment to refunds, etc. A failed game could mean losing out on years of work and labor, and could mean that your studio doesn't make any money from it at all, but has nothing else to fall back on. No money means that not just one developer loses their job, but everyone in the studio can't make rent or buy food or pay bills. knows, one failed game can easily ruin multiple lives. And yes, this can mean all of those things, but Chilltown is an early access game. We're gonna get into that in what Chilltown devs said this early access is about, but this was a load of BS, and them really disregarding what we go through as content creators and the harassment that we go through online is a load of bullcrap. Plus, I've never asked anyone to review bomb or harass or do any of those things. You can handle these situations professionally, which Low High Tech did not. But anyways, they also said, again, this is all allegedly, them saying, not me. But I want to end with this. Once you're locked into a Kickstarter, there is no option to leave. The backer rewards need to be fulfilled. So if there is anyone to be mad at or to blame, it's the publisher who gave a new developer bad advice. They ditched them when things got hard. An early access purchase on Steam can be refunded, and any money that Chilltown make from early access can easily be gotten back from anyone who feels slighted by the state of the game. But Kickstarter, Creativo did that. They are the ones who scammed the backers, if you ask me. Again, I have no idea what happened between closed doors. This is all allegedly. This is the developer saying that this is what happened. I don't know. And yes, you can refund the game, but why can't we work on actually fixing the game, which is what the entire point of my review was. Anyway, at this point, I told them that we're not seeing eye to eye, and as a reviewer, again, I'm simply doing my job. I will always be transparent with my community, so I don't know where I went wrong. Not once did I ask anyone to review bomb or harass the developers, and as I said, I'm not sure why they're approaching me in the first place. Honestly, everything that they said, it just felt like excuses. It felt like, I don't know what point they were getting at, because it just felt like they're trying to make me feel guilty for my review, which I'm not. Like, I'm not guilty for my review. It was very fair review. This whole conversation kind of made me wonder, are they worried about their game releasing soon and they're trying to cushion the blow? Like, maybe it's not doing the best and they're worried about how content creators like myself will review it, or simply maybe they're a busybody, I don't know. They said that it's not for us to decide where you went wrong, and they said like, oh, you have the right to speak your mind and be honest, but they have fear for the industry and they have fear of, you know, how the tweets escalated and it frightened them, and they were just doing this out of empathy. Again, feel like a load of bullcrap, but fine. I told them that I'm not convinced by the whole conversation we had. I felt gaslit anyways, and I said that I believe the developers were unprofessional, and I simply did my job, and then I freaking left the conversation. Everything just felt very shady. I felt like I was gaslit, painted as the bad guy for simply providing a review. I've always been honest with my reviews. That's how it was, that's how it is, that's how it's always gonna be. I don't like, what do you want from me? So this gets us to how everything that they said is irrelevant. Why? Because Chilltown is an early access game. So this is what makes the whole conversation confusing to me. What is an early access game? And let's see specifically what the Chilltown devs said is the early access about. So in the why early access question in the Steam page, they say, we believe that to create an exciting and complete gaming experience, it is crucial to gather feedback from the player community to continually improve the game before its official release. So if that's the case, why are we blocking people because they are giving you feedback? As I said in my video, like, I was really sad making that video because the game is a massive flop. So if that's what early access is about, why are you blocking feedback? If you're new here or you've been an OG subscriber and you know how my reviews go, just in case, let me remind you, if I love a game, I'm gonna find you reasons why you might hate it. If I hate a game, I'll find you reasons why you might love it, and then I'll give you my personal verdict. So no matter what I think about a game, I'll make sure to give you all of its features, so I make sure that you make a well-educated decision on whether you're gonna buy or skip the game. And this was no different from Chilltown and how the review went for Chilltown. This is exactly what I did. Moving on in the section of how are you planning to involve the community in your development process, Chilltown devs said, we will communicate openly with our community about the state of the game, planned and requested features, and other feedback in a variety of places, including the Steam forums, on our Twitter, Discord, and other social networking sites. We also hope that the community will be a great place for players to interact with other players who are enjoying Chilltown. How are we including people again when we're blocking them? And then when I posted about them blocking me, they went and removed or unfollowed all the content creators that were asking like, why are you blocking this creator? Like, forget about that dev contacting me, which everything they said was just, I felt like it was irrelevant, gaslighty, all of that. let's talk about how we can make this helpful, right? In an environment where we have the catastrophe that happened with Ooblets, we've had Palia blocking feedback, and a lot more things that are happening in the farming games genre, cozy games genre. I have a video about it called Are Farming Games Only Getting Worse? I highly recommend you watch it because I dive deep into this topic. But what's the solution? So me and Alex from Backlog Battle had a conversation, and he said that I can share it with you. He suggested that you can hire someone to take care of the social aspect of games. So you can hire a community manager, an influencer manager, or a social media manager. What this does is kind of put like a boundary between your game and the feedback that you're getting online. And this manager will give you the feedback in a way that is easy to absorb without hurting you. They will, soften the blow, and it will still keep your sanity as a developer. I also had a couple of conversations with developers, some of which just recently released their farming games, as well as others who have a couple of farming games coming up soon, and they all shared the same sentiment. They said that someone being in like the middle between their game development and content creators, gamers, the community, just someone being in the middle really, really helps them. And they recommended that this should be the priority for you as an indie studio or an indie dev. They also said that you need to be transparent with your community. So I don't know what NDAs were signed, but I really hope that Hi-Fi Tech can just be a little bit open with the community and let us know what happened, or at least tell us how long the game needs to be fixed. Transparency is key, and otherwise all we have is speculation and this dev that I told you about telling me all the stuff that happened that, again, there's no proof behind it. And the good thing is that we've had recent examples of how this can be done so well and help you come back from a game flop or a game not fitting the expectations of your community. So we had No Rest for the Wicked and Broken Roads. We saw how open they are with the community, and that is chef's kiss, amazing. If we go to the cozy games community, we've seen Until Then asking for some more time to develop their game. We've seen Critter Crops doing the same thing, or even we've seen Claudia, the developer behind Ova Magica, being so open about their struggles. This is also the time to say, be careful of NDAs, be careful of what you're signing. Yes, you might think that you're gonna work with your dream publisher, but at the end of the day, there are very legal clauses that are behind these NDAs. Make sure you read them, make sure you see what the consequences are gonna be, make sure that you know what plan B might be in case you part ways with the publisher. And one thing that Alex said, which I thought was very, very good, is he said, approach things from humility and use this as a learning experience to make the game better. And I can speak from personal experience, especially why I love Pathea games so much. When I did my short about my time at Sandrock and how bad the Switch port is, and then I've talked about it in a couple more videos, you know me, that Switch port was a mess, right? But they're working on it, they're trying to fix it. And what they did is they reached out to me in the comments and asked me about my feedback, and we had back and forth about how we can make this great game be a great one as a port on the Nintendo Switch. And if we're gonna be like, oh, they're such a big company, like, they have the time to do so, why don't we also say, yeah, they're such a big company, they've sold a lot of copies, why would they care about what I think? But that's the thing, they are inclusive, they take in my feedback, they're trying to make it better. So to me, Chilltown devs were the catalyst to making this video. But I've already shared about the downfall of the farming games genre in another video. I highly suggest that you watch the video because it will leave you pleasantly surprised. But recently, some cozy devs are just not so cozy. And I also had that conversation in a tweet with Josh from Josh's Gaming Garden, where we were talking about how some of these developers just have rose-colored glasses on and they think everything is like La La Land and happy and yay and woohoo. It's not the case. You're selling a product at the end of the day. People are going to be honest about it. What's also so sad is that I saw some people comment on that tweet saying that this is why sometimes they are hesitant about covering a game they don't like, and they end up just not talking about it at all because they're worried that their review will burn bridges. And I'm just like, why are we being punished for being honest with our community and being honest about the thoughts that we have about a game that we did not have a good time playing? Like, what? Also, when it comes to the developers who shared unsolicited advice with me and, that whole conversation, I think you should spend time fixing your game and working on your game rather than being a busybody and just wasting my time and my friend's time with all the stuff that you talked about. They say they're doing it out of empathy, and just, mind your own business. work on your game. Thank you for giving advice, but you just made me feel gaslit. If it wasn't for Alex, David, Emily from Herbalology, and Kisekinot telling me that, girl, you have been gaslit and manipulated, I was gonna make this video, only talk about the Chilltown devs and probably not talk about this whole Discord conversation that happened. At the end of the day, I was very fair with my review. I told you the reasons of X, Y, and Z. Watch the video if you didn't, so you know why I do not recommend Chilltown, but I still freaking found you reasons why you would. Like, don't know what they want from me. To me, I'll always say thank you for my community for always putting their trust in me. I'm always going to give you a fair review. I'm gonna tell you exactly why I like a game, exactly why I don't like a game. I don't care about who burns bridges with me and doesn't want to work with me. My community comes first. You guys come first, because if I'm not honest with you, like, what? Like, you are my community. So yeah, like, I should not be walking on eggshells covering games. Content creators should feel free for letting people know how they think, and nobody should be punished for interacting with my tweets because you're gonna go and unfollow and remove them. Like, it's just nonsense. More and more studios need to learn better. I really care about this industry. I love cozy games. I love RPGs. I would love to know what you think about this as a consumer, as a content creator, whatever your role may be. Let me know in the comment section, and definitely watch this video next to learn about the downfall of farming games. Thank you to my Patreon and YouTube bubblies for making videos like this possible. Thank you for watching, and a shout out goes to Jake Logan, the game that I mentioned, and Stephanie for going the extra mile. Until next time, stay bubbly.